Hello everyone. So it's been a while since I have done anything related to Qt widgets, but I did have a series of posts on my blog related to some cool UI elements. And recently I've been working on a project, on a completely different project, where I came up with I think, quite a nice idea of representing a tree view in a alternative way to the classical one. So as you can see on the right here in this demo, you have a classical Qt tree view with the file system model attached to it. So, I mean, it works, of course, great. It is classical control. It's been in use for like, I don't know, 20, 30 years or whatever. Everybody knows it. What are the problems with it? I mean, of course, it just grows horizontally when you expand the items. So if you have a limited space, or if you just don't like this kind of confusing look where everything is like an octopus basically with the tentacles unfolding everywhere, it can be a little bit confusing. But on top of that, it's really this horizontal expansion, which is like could be a usability problem. So, for example, here, if I dive a little bit into the directory structure, I keep diving, 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 diving. So at some point, basically, my column width is not enough to even properly display the name of the item, right? So you can then probably, if you've been using trees, you're probably well accustomed to this resizing of the column width. You usually need it more often than not at some point. So what was my proposal actually for avoiding this maybe confusing and horizontally expanding view was something that I called a narrow tree view. So a narrow tree view preserves a lot of what the classical tree view gives you, meaning like you have, of course, this notion of hierarchy. You can, let's say, expand an item, but what happens is actually the children are not appearing with an indentation to the right. They are appearing right below the parent, right? And now the crucial thing is that the parent gets kind of this up icon, which lets you move again to the sort of to set the root of the view to a level higher than the current root, than the current parent. So you can go up, you can go back, you can go again deeper into the file system hierarchy. And now let's try to navigate to the same place that I did on the right side. So if I go to users, you can see now what happens. I mean, this is the crucial trick behind this UI control. So all of the parent directories in the current, up to the current root, they are just listed one after the other without actually their children, and only the children of the bottommost level of the current root are listed, right? So I keep navigating, I go to shared. Again, I have now 3 parents here on the top. I go to Qt, I go to 511, clang, bean, assistant, contents, macOS. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm in exactly the same place as on the right, but the view is way less cluttered. I can instantly see, so I mean, basically it replaces also this kind of breadcrumbs functionality like you have, for example, in the, let's say, if you go to, well, somewhere, yeah, documents. So this kind of breadcrumbs thing that you have, for example, in Finder, yeah, this is like completely obsoleted by the use of the narrow tree, and you can also trace, let's say, all of the maybe sizes if they were implemented in the model. They are not in the file system model, but you can check, for example, modification dates and so on of all of the parents leading up to the current item, current children, without actually looking here, searching through the tree and so on and so forth, right? I mean, because here everything on the right is kind of messy. Here you have perfect overview. So that's these are the good things, right? And the width, everything matches perfectly in the name column. No resizing, everything. I mean, you will never run out. You will almost never run out of space unless a single name of the folder is simply so big, or a file is so big that it exceeds the column width. But just by going deeper into the hierarchy, you will never run out of the real estate, the screen real estate. to contain your item names. So now going up, you can go up, let's say one by one, going parent by parent, or even from that particular point, you can go up all the way up here, right? So I mean, pretty much what you can do here, you can also do here. So the bad thing, on the other hand, about the narrow tree is then when you are here and you want to go back where you were, you actually have to go through the whole thing. So I mean, my impression is that actually navigating through the narrow tree view is actually much more pleasant than actually navigating through the tree view, because you are limited just actually to the vertical motion here to navigate through the elements. You don't have to like look for them here somewhere in the list to find the element that you actually want to expand, like you have to do here. So let's repeat here. Oh, okay, let's actually fold everything to here. So actually even folding this stuff here is as you can see, it is also a little bit of a trouble. This is exactly what I was talking about, but in reverse. Just to fold everything, you have to like trace the whole hierarchy. And also here, okay, I have to find it here in the users, then I have to find my shared here, then I have to again move to the right and to the bottom and go to Qt, 5.1, clang, bin. Well, I'm actually choosing the first element, but normally you have to find it here on the list. And so, I mean, the point is that you always have to move both horizontally and vertically to actually find the item you're looking for. And in the narrow tree view, it is always just vertical motion. So let's go to some other place, for example, pictures, desktop pictures. Yeah, I have a pictures list. Let's do the same here. I have gone pictures, desktop pictures. Yeah. So basically, you always have like a cleaner view, my impression, when you're using the narrow tree view, and here a little bit more cluttered. But for example, going, let's say, back and forth is as easy as just expanding the node. So, well, here in the tree view, in the narrow tree view, it could be solved by having just some kind of like a back button, simply going back. But of course, it is complicating the interface. So the point is that my feeling is that the narrow tree view is kind of like intermediate solution between a tree view and a list view. So you have like benefits of a list view with kind of breadcrumbs integrated, but it's even better than breadcrumbs actually, because you also have all these custom columns here with the information about items. So you have like breadcrumbs on steroids plus a list view versus but you're losing maybe this ability to like just collapse and then expand the items back. You always have to repeat the navigation, but I mean you would have to do the same with the list view. Plus breadcrumbs. So it is like breadcrumbs plus list view on steroids with a nice UI. You have these nice icons. Everything looks pretty cool, and actually it is quite usable when you have to just navigate somewhere. It's really pleasant to navigate just with this vertical motion. And the tree view, more cluttered. You need to resize the column to accommodate the length basically of the name, and so on and so forth. So it is a little bit more complicated in my opinion. So I mean, you have I'm not going to patent it or anything. I'm releasing the source code as usual on the simplified BSD license, so it's free for you to use. I also hope, as always, when I come up with something I consider a nice UI element, that my publication now will, of course, prevent any other people from doing some weird stuff like patenting it or whatever, claiming that it's been their super innovative idea. I think it's a basic thing, and it's a simple like an interbreed between the tree view and list view plus breadcrumbs on steroids. This is how I see it. So I'm going to put the source code on my blog soon, and I hope you enjoy this control. Thank you for listening.